this is my keyword outline for speech 2, and I'm just going to go ahead and get started. What should the government control? So many aspects of our lives are controlled by the rules and regulations created by the government that play major proponents in the sustainability and order of this nation. So many of the decisions made in cases leading all the way to the Supreme Court have held true for dozens of years without change. But sometimes these decisions can have alterations made to them years later. These changes and alterations can come from all sorts of variables, different situations, contexts, environments for the cases. And one such drastic alteration to a major case decided long ago is the Roe v. Wade court case. Based on information from justice.org and their volume 410 of the U.S. Supreme Court case of Roe v. Wade, we see that this case was decided in 1973 over the regulation of abortion rights. This was a major proponent in the natural rights many people feel they were born to, and overturning this rule has seriously stirred the nation. The rights to one's own body is a huge political and social topic in this nation, and changes in cases that have significance like the Roe v. Wade has many people questioning what's going to happen to them. What will happen to the choices that they have, the decisions that they have been able to make. And to better understand these effects, we look to the people who share their individual stories, the people, men and women alike, directly affected by the regulations the government has on abortion rights. But first, we should look at the history of this case to better understand both its significance as well as the effect that it has had on this nation for so many years now. Again, from justice.org and their volume 410, we see that the Roe v. Wade court case was decided in 1973 to completely eliminate the illegalization of abortion, but rather create the situation where people are able to choose to have an abortion up until the fetus is viable, which just means the fetus is able to survive outside of the womb. Before this decision, specifically in the state of Texas, that being relevant to us, abortions were actually only allowed to people in the case to save the mother. But the Roe v. Wade case decision in 73 help build new choices, new rights, new opportunities for people who find themselves in other sort of special situations or simply feel they are unfit to raise a child, whether that for all sorts of extraneous situations such as being financially unfit or the living conditions being poor. Whichever the case, changing or altering the case's decision not only alters the legality of abortion, but also the choices that people have. This change has begun to seriously stir the nation and the people directly affected by it, and they have begun to share their stories of how these overrulings would affect them now in this present had their situation arise here that it did in the past. Although the overrule is in regards to the entire country, there are certainly more people who are vastly more affected than others, more directly affected by the decision making, and the stories they share help to highlight the way that this has been affecting people. One group of individuals who is affected heavily by these decisions are minority women or women in poverty. These women already struggle with limited access to healthcare, as well as opportunities to even see a clinic that would provide the procedure for an abortion. And so changes to the Roe v. Wade decision would have major and drastic effects on their future decision making. There's also huge discrepancies, especially in Texas, about abortions, and these clashing opinions makes it extremely difficult for clinics to even operate. And on top of this, there's a lot of underlying racist tones or societal norms against poverty that greatly limits whether these women have access to things such as birth control, which helps to avoid unwanted pregnancies, which lowers the need for abortions. Like we said, the stories shared by these people is really what will highlight the significance of these decisions. And one such woman that decided to share her story is Amanda Farge, who is a black woman that raised her child during college in 2014. Emily Warnett, in a 2022 article that she created, highlighted 26 women, Amanda being one of them, and she shared the difficulties of finding a provider in Mississippi, and that most clinics that she went to actually tried to talk her out of it. This is a common theme, doctors thinking that the decision is drastic, and they work hard to alter your decision, and they did so much so to Amanda that eventually it was too late for her to get the procedure done. She actually ran out of time. Another story like her before, a woman heavily affected by these decisions, is Miss Mira from South Dakota. She was a 29-year-old, and she shared her stories of how she struggled both to find a doctor that would support her in her decision making, as well as avoiding the scrutiny of people such as anti-abortionists who surrounded her living space and mobbed the clinics that were available for her. But not only women are affected by these issues, also the men. When it comes to regulating abortion rights or altering or overturning the decision of Roe v. Wade, comes with the limiting factors that it has for that partners have on planning families. By completely illegalizing abortion, they no longer have the decision of whether or not to raise this child or work towards more sustaining themselves by having abortion. This decision is taken away from them. Along with this alteration comes changes to other laws that in regards to things like contraception, which directly affects the man. All these changes drastically affect the lives of so many people, all the partners and all the families, women, men alike, all different races. The range is sincerely large. Based on the stories provided and the significance of this case, it is clear that the effects of these alterations will be major. The stories shared seriously highlight the reins that this decision has over the entire nation. And based on this, it's clear that regulating abortion and altering the ways in which the procedure is brought about and all these different staples and controversy that have affected the nation works to highlight the significance of this, and the stories that these people share help bring about the awareness for people who are directly affected by this. So thank you.